1, 2, 3, chequeando el audio. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hola, hola, hola.
Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Hi. Is that fine? Yeah.
¿Se escucha bien atrás?
Can you hear me? Perfecto, gracias.
Hola, 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 dos, tres, hola, dos, tres.
Are you going to record yourself? I'm going to take a selfie with the audience. They're going to help me. It's you, part of my trick.
Oh, I can begin here.
Right.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes, all right. Just as a reminder, sections 1 and 2 should go to the prize auditorium. You're supposed to know this, okay? Section 1 and 2, you should go to the prize auditorium, okay? Nuevamente, las secciones 1 y 2 deberían irse al auditorio Price. Así que si usted está acá y es alumno de la profesora Ámbar, debería irse al auditorio Price. Okay. Can we please close the doors? TAs, can you please close the doors? All right. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Good. So welcome to the first seminar of the English seminars of the semester. My name is Denise Lee, and I'm the teacher in charge of coordinating the seminars this semester. Before we start, I would like to remind you some important aspects. First, remember that electronic devices are not allowed. You may take notes during the talk and use them during the quiz. However, they cannot be exchanged among students. Also, make sure to write down your name and the section you belong to. Quizzes without this information will receive the minimum grade, since we won't be able to identify you. Also, once you're done, you have to deposit your quizzes inside the bags that are at the front of the stage. And remember to participate and ask questions to our guest. So our speaker today is a leadership and personal branding coach from South Africa, but she's currently based in Santiago. She's the president of the International Professional Women Association of Chile and founder of Improv Santiago. She's also a head tutor for the University of Cape Town, executive management online coach training. So please welcome Michelle Clark.
Good afternoon. Is my mic on? Everyone can hear me? Good afternoon. Hi. Denise, thank you so much for inviting me. I have just returned from an epic adventure in the country Malaysia. Is anyone familiar with Malaysia? Anyone been there? Yeah? It's awesome. I really recommend it. And I'll tell you a little bit about why I was there. The pictures that I'll use in my slideshow today, I took at what they call 3D art in Langkawi, the island of Langkawi in Malaysia. And it's all this 3D art that you can climb into the photograph and take a snapshot. And it's just awesome fun. And I wanted to start with this particular picture because I arrived back from my trip on Sunday, and it's a 36-hour flight or traveling time, and about 24 hours I lost. So I was really sort of jet-lagged on Monday morning when Denise sent me an email and said, "Hey, Michelle, are you still coming to talk on Wednesday? And I'm excited to tell you that there are a lot more students." She said, "I'm sure you'll find it exciting." And I thought, oh my gosh, that's just like terrifying. A lot more students. Usually in my work, I work one-on-one with people, or I work in small, intimate groups of people. So I felt really terrified by the prospect of so many of you. But I can't be terrified because what I'm going to talk about today is the art of confidence. I don't know what that says in the middle of the slide. Oh, it doesn't say it there. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to talk today about the art of confidence. I know that these seminars are intended for you to gather more information, spoken in English, that you can use in your upcoming careers. And in my opinion, the most important soft skill that is going to help you succeed in your careers is confidence. The reason why I have this wonderful group of people in this slide is they're the reason why I went to Malaysia. So I'm a leadership coach, and my tagline, my sales line is, "I help make leaders better leaders." And I also have an additional branding that says, "I'm a portable professional. I will go wherever the work calls me." And that was a bit of a pipe dream a few years ago until people started to call me to go and do remote work. And this team called me from Malaysia to say, "Will you come and do what you do with us?" And I said, "Of course I will." And it was an unknown project. I'd never done it before. The work and the piece of work they asked me to tackle, I'd never tried before. But I have a quality we're going to talk about in a bit, self-efficacy, a complete belief that I can pull off what it is you asked me to do. So I went to Malaysia a year ago, to Kuala Lumpur, and I met these people for the first time. They're all native Malaysians. They do speak English, of course. It's a foreign environment. They're IT engineers, which I know nothing about, providing 24/7 support around the world. So I tackled this project with them. I then came back to Santiago, and I worked with each individual in a one-on-one coaching relationship virtually via my computer. But the time difference between Malaysia and Santiago is 12 hours. And so I was meeting with clients at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, 8 at night. It was an enormous project I'd never tackled before. And then I went back to Malaysia last week to complete this project by working with this team. So they have been an adventure to me, a great inspiration, and a great source of boosting my confidence that, in fact, we can tackle anything if we believe we can. I should be qualified to talk about confidence because I am the co-author of this book called Confidence: How to Go About Getting What You Really, Really, Really Want. And how this book came about is it's a publishing house in Europe that contacted me among some other authors and asked if they could interview us about confidence. And my chapter is about keep taking action. The way to build confidence is to keep taking action. Whenever you feel in doubt or fear, you take a step and take more and more steps until you feel confident. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you buy this book, but you're welcome. This interview took place 3 years ago, and I think that I'm going to share different thoughts on confidence if they were to contact me again today. And that's what happens is the more actions we take, the more frightening things we do, the more and more our confidence grows. So if on Monday, when Denise said, come and talk to all these students, I was terrified, and I had to move to a space of confidence, you'd imagine I went from 0 confidence to 100% confidence. But not according to the confidence continuum. At 0 confidence, we are feeling a lack of self-esteem, which we'll talk about what the meanings of those words, a lack of self-belief. We're feeling anxious and fearful. We're comparing ourselves to other people when we don't have confidence. Oh, I bet you she could do it better than me. Or Bob is more qualified, Jorge is more qualified to talk than I am. And we're feeling inferior. When we move to 100% confidence, or the opposite end, we're overconfident, arrogant. We think a little too much of ourselves. We're superior to others. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term narcissism. Okay, I think the story, the Greek myth behind that was the guy who was so in love with himself that he looked in the water at his reflection and fell in. So we don't want to be lack of confidence, and we don't want to be overly confident. We want to be nice, balanced, confidence in the middle, with a solid sense of self-esteem, feeling that we're equal, having some sort of pride in ourselves that's authentic, a real proud of myself moment, right? And there's a little dotted circle around the 50% because sometimes we tackle things that are scary, we've never done them before, and we feel less confident. And sometimes we feel really like we can manage this and we feel more confident. So we're looking for a middle ground, not to feel inferior and not to feel superior. So this particular graph, which I thank funders and founders for, is actually about confident entrepreneurs. But I have a belief that all of us are entrepreneurs, even if we're employed, because we make a promise to an employer and we must produce goods, and that must require some creative entrepreneurial skill. But they do a comparison here between confident people and arrogant people. And just before Christmas, I'm sure you're so keen to know this, I was dating a really arrogant guy. Thank goodness I'm not anymore. The first night the guy took me out, he spent the whole night telling me about all the important people he knows. He also told me the reason why he's taking me out is because I'm a coach and he wants to get close to coaches. I should have dumped him then, right? Yes, thank you. So confident, arrogant people are about talking about everybody that they know. Because they want to be seen as part of that circle, right? The other thing my arrogant boyfriend did is everything I did was incorrect. I would do something and say, oh, I'm delighted how I've done this, and he would go, oh no, it should be done like that. And the intent, and what happens with arrogant people, is they actually feel quite small. They have a lack of self-esteem. So they try and pull down other people, make other people smaller so they can be bigger, which is what my arrogant boyfriend was doing. The confident person is happy to approach strangers. I know in Chile there's a network, a culture here of your network, right? Your pututos, is that the correct word? And people work a lot through a network. It means when a foreigner arrives like me, I've got no network. And when I arrived here, I did not know a soul. And so I had to do a lot of approaching strangers. Hello, stranger. I'm this person. I have this great idea. Let's do some work together. And confidence brings that about. Also, in the last point, confident people act like a fool sometimes. So you may have heard Denise say that I am the founder of Improv Santiago. And Improv Santiago is a school that teaches people how to do improvised acting. And to do that, there's a lot of foolery that goes on. And I'm right up there being the greatest fool of them all, so that other people feel confident to do the same thing. So, I'm amazed by this. My slides are gone weird, which is cool. So don't write that down, because my slides are weird, okay? So the topic of confidence and its ability to help us succeed is new psychology. It's not agreed on by all psychologists. Is anyone here studying psych? No? Okay. Sorry? Okay. Only business. We need a bit of psych to get strong in business. But the psychologists are still undecided and still trying to figure out the role that confidence does play in success. So far, they've said confidence is two things. And this is where my slide got weird. It's self-esteem. And self-esteem is this feeling that I deserve love and I deserve success. I'm a lovable person. I like myself. That's what self-esteem is, okay? I have value. And the other thing that you can't see in that block is self-efficacy. And the word efficacy comes from efficient. And self-efficacy means that I believe that I can do it. Okay? And these two things are confidence. So one is, I think I deserve success. And the other is, I believe I can tackle what you provide me to tackle with. Right? As a show of hands, and nobody's judging, how many of you feel that you are confident? Cool. Put up those hands. In fact, I'm going to ask you to help me with this because I want to take a picture of us feeling all confident. Okay, so I'd love all of you to, hang on a second, that's not how it works. Boom. Ah, shove it. Awesome. Okay, can everybody say, I feel confident, and put up your hands like this is the most fun you've ever had. Go. 1, 2, 3, woo! And again, whoa! That's good, thank you. Awesome. So, examples, oh, my slides did go weird. Okay, examples of self-efficacy. A student who does not feel that they are masters in a particular subject, but feel they can study this thing, they can ace it, right? Or a man who has had some low luck in his relationship department, but he still approaches his next date with confidence. I'm sure many of you have got a lot of stories to share about when you felt self-efficacy. Self-efficacy, and you thought, yeah, I can tackle that project. Yeah? Do many people have stories where you've tackled a project and felt, yeah, that was cool? Hands! Thanks. So, another picture taken at the beautiful museum. So what breaks down our confidence? There is a story quite well known in English, I'm not sure about you guys in Spanish, where a teacher asks kids, little kids, who can sing? And the whole class puts up their hands, right? Everyone, I can sing, yeah. And then a few years go by and they're teenagers and the teacher asks, who can sing? And only half of them put up their hands. And a few years go by and they're adults and you ask, who can sing? And only a percentage put up their hand. So what's gone on? People's self-esteem and their belief system have been knocked along the way. Somebody said, you actually can't sing. or somebody with your voice shouldn't be in the choir, or some feedback was given, you're just not a singer, you're not creative, and we start to believe a lot of programming that we are not as confident as we ought to be. So, for example, when I grew up, there were a lot of things that for some reason girls couldn't do. That was a programming in my growing up circles, right? You're a girl, you can't do that. Or maybe guys shouldn't cry because that shows a vulnerability. There were a lot of things that were said to us that took a knock on our confidence, yeah? So parental messaging. My mum used to say to me, you are too smart, Michelle. Who can be too smart? Or you are too demanding, or you are too something. And after a while, you begin to believe it, that you are that way, and so your confidence is knocked. Negative feedback. Maybe feedback on some work that you deliver, or negative feedback from your friends. That takes a great knock on our confidence, right? What I call inner gremlins, these are just the voices in our own head. Oh, Michelle, don't be stupid. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, Bob can do it better. There's the comparison, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on inside us that is breaking down our confidence. Emotional management. EQ, they call it. Right? Somebody says something to me and I freak out, shout, scream, cry. This in no way appears to be a confident person. Our general health and well-being, it's so important. We live inside our bodies. If we don't take care of them, where will we live? And the condition of our body is going to give us a degree of confidence or not. And then my favorite topic, our hero's journey. So every single one of us is living a hero's journey. Every one of us in this room today are heroes. Would you agree that you're a hero? Ah, that I liked. A guy called Joseph Campbell did a prolonged study on all of the myths, all of the stories in our history as a humanity, and compared and came up with a theory that each of us is going through cycles called the hero's journey. And sometimes the hero's journey can be taking place in a few hours, and sometimes in several months or years. So I've got a quick video clip that I'd like to share with you on the hero's journey. And let's see if we can get it to play.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern? Status quo, that's where we start. 1 o'clock, call to adventure. The hero receives a mysterious message, an invitation, a challenge. 2 o'clock, assistance. The hero needs some help, probably from someone older, wiser. 3 o'clock, departure. The hero crosses the threshold from his normal, safe home and enters the special world and adventure. We're not in Kansas anymore. 4 o'clock, trials. Being a hero is hard work. Our hero solves a riddle, slays a monster, escapes from a trap. 5 o'clock, approach. It's time to face the biggest ordeal, the hero's worst fear. 6 o'clock, crisis. This is the hero's darkest hour. He faces death and possibly even dies. only to be reborn. 7 o'clock, treasure. As a result, the hero claims some treasure, special recognition, or power. 8 o'clock, result. This can vary between stories. Do the monsters bow down before the hero, or do they chase him as he flees from the special world? 9 o'clock, return. After all that adventure, the hero returns to his ordinary world. 10 o'clock, new life. This quest has changed the hero. He has outgrown his old life. 11 o'clock, resolution. All the tangled plot lines get straightened out. 12 o'clock, status quo, but upgraded to a new level. Nothing is quite the same once you're a hero. Many popular books and movies follow this ancient formula pretty closely, but let's see how well The Hunger Games fits the hero's journey template. When does Katniss Everdeen hear a call to adventure that gets the story moving? When her sister's name is called from the lottery. How about assistance? Is anyone going to help her on her adventure? Hey Mitch. What about departure? Does she leave her ordinary world? She gets on a train to the capital. Okay, so you get the idea. What do you have in common with Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo? Well, you're human, just like them. The hero's journey myth exists in all human cultures and keeps getting updated because we humans reflect on our world through symbolic stories of our own lives. You leave your comfort zone, have an experience that transforms you, and then you recover and do it again. You don't literally slay dragons or fight Voldemort, but you face problems just as scary. Joseph Campbell said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek." What is the symbolic cave you fear to enter? Auditions for the school play? Baseball tryouts? Love? Watch for this formula in books, movies, and TV shows you come across. You will certainly see it again, but also be sensitive to it in your own life. Listen for your call to adventure. Accept the challenge. Conquer your fear and claim the treasure you seek. And then do it all over again.
Escape. Okay. Alrighty. So, how many of us are heroes? Only one? Oh, more. Heroes in the room. So, ever since I have become more familiar with the hero's journey, I watch it happening in my life all the time, right? I'm often saying yes to things that I've never done before. And as you say yes to anything you've never done before, which could even be studying at university, right? New thing, new semester. And you step into a new adventure. And in the adventure, a lot of horrid things can happen too. As we can see, we're fighting demons and such until we come back with the treasure, until we make it through our cycle. And for that, knowing that we're going to go through this cycle is, for me, a great help to keep my confidence up, because when I'm having a great time, I can tell myself there's going to be trouble coming. It's part of the hero's journey. And when I'm having a hard time, I tell myself there's going to be joy coming, because that's part of the journey, right? And as I say, this can happen on a daily basis, in an hour, it can happen in a month. My whole journey to Chile from South Africa is one big hero's journey that's had many ups and downs and joys. But we need, if we can recognize that this is a cycle and there's going to be some trouble at some time, we can approach it confidently. And what I would love to do is I'd love you guys to share if you have any hero's journeys. And more, it's like thinking about what was something that was different and new to me, and who was the mentor, who was the person who came and pushed me to do the thing. And sometimes it's an older, wiser person who says, come on, you can do it. And sometimes it could be your friend who says, go for it. You know, sometimes it can be. I had once, once I had this really arrogant boss on the subject of arrogance. When I resigned from his company to go out on my own, he said, "Do you really think you can open doors without my company name behind you?" And he was my mentor. He was the guy. That nasty comment was what got me to jump into the hero's journey. So think about that. Who have been your mentors? Who have pushed you into new unknown circles? And maybe you'll share with me in a bit. So if you practice becoming more confident, is it possible that people might think you're arrogant? So not if you're basing who you're becoming on your values. Is anyone familiar with values? The word values, as it's used in English, yeah? Okay, that's terrific. How I work a values exercise with my clients, and I'm very happy to send this to anybody who wants it, is to give them a list of values. These are words that are important to ourselves, right? And I say to my clients, I want you to reduce this list. This is half a page. The full page has obviously double the amount. I want you to reduce this list to the 5 most important values for you. And so they have to work through some words here, maybe proactivity. And they have to think, is proactivity more important than time flexibility? Or what is most valuable to me? And when you figure out your 5 most important values and you use them as a lighthouse direction in your life, you will not go the arrogance route. You're gaining more and more confidence. So if you guys have not done a values exercise for yourselves, I do encourage it. It's really powerful, and it will change, of course. It changes as we change, but it's a really nice exercise to visit. In the business of self-development, or the business of setting and achieving goals, there are many steps that we take. We create a personal vision, we prepare, we take action, blah, blah. And confidence is just one brick in this entire schema of how we achieve our success. But it's a very important brick. You can see it sitting in there holding this thing together. So I think it's one of our most important skills in our careers and lives. So I'm going to invite you to consider 3 ways of building more confidence. And the one is through our body, because we've got that. That's our tool, right? And body language is a language. It's how we communicate to each other. And very often our body language is not communicating confidence, even if we don't know that. So the way we might be sitting in the chair, or crossing our arms, or staring blankly into space, can send messages to other people about our confidence levels. And so if we want to demonstrate more confidence, the one way is through the body, right? Eye contact. Eye contact is such an important communication tool. And I don't know if you guys find yourselves at, I bet you do, at functions or cocktail parties, and you've had a conversation with someone who talks right, you know, they're standing there talking to you, but they're not looking at all. They don't instill much confidence. Stand tall, walk tall. I dated this other guy once, sure you love hearing my dating life, who was a terrible fidgeter. Terrible. He fidgeted all the time. And the impression that it gave me is this guy's just not very confident. Find your voice. Our voice and how we communicate and speak to people is so important, right? I have a neighbor, I love her, but she has a really high-pitched voice. And sometimes when I'm listening to her speaking, I think she really could display so much more confidence if she spoke from her diaphragm and not up here. Exercise and stretch, because if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? So it's a really interesting observation to people watch, and to see as people are walking around, who looks confident in how they're carrying their body and who doesn't and how they're carrying their body. And dress to the best that you can to look super confident. If you feel good, right? So that's the physical body, but then there's the building the confidence through mindset, right? Which is how we think. So create a vision for yourself. Who do you want to become in the world? What does that person look like? You can decide how long a vision ahead you want to make it, 5 years, 10 years, but try and visualize yourself. Where do you want to be, and how does that person behave? And that's the person you can step into. Identify your important values and use them to guide you on your hero's journey. Take action. Take steps. Whenever you feel nervous or fearful, take some action. That's really key. And stop comparing yourself. There's a beautiful quotation, I didn't include it, about how can I compare the outside of you with the inside of me? Right? There's no point in comparing. We are all so very different. Remain curious about life. Celebrate both your wins and your failures. In improv, we do a lovely exercise, which I really encourage you to do one day, where each actor gets up in front of an audience and says, I have failed. And everybody goes, wow. Because our failures, and you know, those happen in our hero's journey, our failures help us to grow and stretch and learn. Learn to deal elegantly with criticism and feedback, because that's going to happen your whole career. And so if we can build up the muscle to say, thank you for the feedback, I appreciate it, I'll take it, that's going to put us in a much better position than being defensive about criticism and feedback. Build resilience, and always know that you are more than enough. There's a beautiful exercise bouncing around the internet at the moment where you take your Koki pen on your bathroom mirror and you write, I am enough. And whenever you look at yourself in the mirror, you got it. And then there's building your confidence through emotions and spirit. I just love this picture. I just have to stop and pause and look at my picture. This was taken in Langkawi, but it's Paddington Bear, yeah? And Paddington Bear is from Peru, just FYI. So how do you display confidence with emotions and spirit? Manage impatience. That gets us into trouble a lot of the time. Know your pressure gauges. Know when you have to leave conversations, and don't behave unconfident by behaving badly. Learn to manage conflict, because that's going to happen your whole career. Use affirmations and visualizations. Are you familiar with the word affirmation? Affirmation as a technique is where you write down in the present tense what it is you want. Okay, you might want it at some future time, but you write it as if it's happened now. So one of my affirmations that I use, that I have stuck on my refrigerator, is all the right people appear at all the right time. And I tell myself that a couple of times a day, every day, all the time, and you know what? All the right people arrive at all the right time. So affirmation, writing down what you want as if it's already happened. So I would like to invite you to be confident with me and us in this room and share. I'm keen to hear if you have an example of a hero's journey that you would love to share. When was a stage in your life where you had to tackle something scary? Who was a mentor? How did they arrive and help you out? If you'd like to share that, I'd be thrilled. Or if you'd like to ask any questions, please go for it. Oh. Beautiful. Someone's breaking the ice for us? That's a hero's journey in itself. Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
I am Francesca.
Hi.
So I want to tell you about my hero
I want to
journey.
hear. Yay.
It's a little personal, but when I was young,
See?
more young,
See?
younger, I was not a pretty girl. I didn't like to dress up or make up. So my mother was there and she said, you have to be more like yourself more. Go to the bathroom and clean yourself. Because I was lazy, so I didn't clean myself. Yeah, I know. So she teach me how to dress, how to make my style.
Perfect.
So now she is she's in her house, so and the south. So I don't have her with me all the times, but she teach me good. So now I know how to dress, how to be good and perfect for age time. So that is my hero journey. Is not so exciting, but it's something that I learned, and I appreciate her for that.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. So what a beautiful mentor, a mum that says, come on, Han, let me show you and let me help you. That's beautiful, and you're beautiful. And that, such courage to share a personal story. So who would like to share their own story? Who'd like to share another story? Beautiful. Thank you.
Hola, hola.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm not going to share my story, but I'm going to say something I hope everyone like feels like about the hero thing and everything. Like everyone has a little like saving the world in them, and it's okay if you only save one person, and it's okay if it's yourself. So, like, if you wake up in the morning and the only thing you do is like get up, that's okay, and you should be proud of yourself for that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for what an important share. Yesterday on, I don't know, probably Instagram or something, I saw this beautiful picture, and it's a guy, a big guy, like chubby guy, and he's chiseling himself, like he looks like a stone, and he's chiseling himself, and inside is, you know, this gorgeous guy, and he's da-da, and the caption said, the most important work you have to do is work on yourself, right? So we're creating ourselves, and when we change, the world does change. So when we improve our confidence in the world, we give everyone else permission to do the same. So I love that. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Or ask questions or add a comment? Was that a hand? No?
Michelle,
Yes.
I want to thank you for coming. Thank you so
Pleasure.
much. Can we give Michelle a round of applause, please? So I think we are ready for your questions.
Beautiful. So these are the two questions that I've put down for you to contemplate. Describe 3 different ways that you could demonstrate confidence with your physical body, through your body language. And the second question is, name the stages, or at least 4 that you can remember in your own language, of the hero's journey.
All right, so silently, you will receive your quiz, and you can start.
Thanks, Denise.
Okay, so you may start your quizzes. You have until 4:50. 20 minutes. 10 minutes. 5 minutes. Three minutes. 1 more minute, so please start finishing up. Okay, students, time's up, so please stop writing. No more writing.